Hi RJ. So last time you helped me sort out with the whole EE versus ECE thing for my brother. So update, he's actually learning ECE now.
Okay, that sounds great.
But now he's stuck on something else. He knows what to study, but he has no idea which schools to even look at.
Well, yeah, that's a tricky question, and every student and parents have to face that question. But before we get into any specifics, let's talk about rankings first. Because when most students and parents plan where to go, that's usually the first thing that comes to mind as a reference.
Right, that's usually where everyone starts.
Yeah, and that's fine as a starting point. The rankings can tell you these 10 schools are all solid, but what they can't tell you is which one of the 10 actually fits how your brother wants to learn and what kind of environments he wants to be in.
Oh, so it's less which school is number one and more which school is number one for him.
Yes, exactly. So I put together a list of things to look at beyond the rankings. Want to go through it?
Yes, please.
Okay, first thing when you consider which schools to apply is what the teaching is like day to day and whether that style actually works for your brother, because good teaching isn't one size fits all.
What do you mean?
Take this school, Owen College of Engineering. It's well known for its project-based curriculum. So instead of big lectures, you are doing hands-on design project on day one.
Oh, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, whatever on the school's website paints a really positive picture. And if you look at the overall ratings of the school, it does sound great. And if you read the actual student reviews, some say it's amazing. A small number, however, say the exact opposite. So like project-based for them, it's like nobody is teaching you and you have to figure it out by yourself.
So wait, which one is true?
Well, I guess it varies by the student. And it seems great if you already have a strong foundation and you can run with that freedom. But if you are the type of student who needs more structure, that same freedom actually feels like being thrown in the deep end. So the same program can be perfect for one person and terrible for another.
So the exact same feature can be a pro or a con, depending on the person?
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't stop at the school's own description of curriculum. I would actually go and read the actual students' reviews, especially the less flattering ones, because those can tell you more about the trade-offs, not just the highlights.
Okay, that actually sounds like a good filter. Read the bad reviews first, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And actually the same thing applies to the next factor that you should take into consideration, which is resources. Because many schools would put great career outcomes on their website. But the real question is, would employers actually treat this school as a talent pool?
Okay, so how do you tell the difference?
Well, one signal is career fair, but fair warning. Many companies show up just for PR. So I think a better signal is what people call a feeder school, which means whether the school has actual ongoing pipelines into some specific companies.
Okay, what does that look like in practice?
A great example would be University of Minnesota and their connection to the origin of the whole industry. Like in 1957, an UMN engineer named Earl Barkin developed the first battery-powered pacemaker at the request of an UMN surgeon. And that breakthrough actually put the well-known company Medtronic on the map. So today, Minnesota is actually one of the largest medical device hubs in the United States. And Medtronic, Boston Scientific, Abbott, and more than 500 medical device companies all have major operations there. So UMN's biomedical engineering department has decades of partnerships with these companies through coursework, research, and industry-sponsored projects.
Okay, wait. So if you go to UMN, you're basically set for a job in this industry?
Well, not really. That's the part people usually get wrong. Feeder school doesn't mean guaranteed admission. It just means more alumni there, more frequent recruitings, established internship pipelines, and the HR that actually knows your program. But you still have to perform, I guess, once you are in the room.
Okay, so more like a head start.
Yeah, and this is not unique. It's not just the medical device industry. Think about university like San Jose State and the tech companies across the Silicon Valley. So figure out the industry first and then look for a school that's a feeder into that industry. Do not just look at the generally well-ranked schools.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the third thing is starting salary, but I'd put a big asterisk on this one.
Why?
Because the average starting salary of graduates can be misleading. Some people from lesser known schools turned out to be just as strong. They still get good opportunities and get promoted and raise the salaries and so on. So salary can tell you something, but it feels more like a floor, not a ceiling.
Okay, but is there a case where salary data is a strong signal?
Actually, remember Owen from a second ago we just talked about? Yeah, the same vibe, tiny school. Not many people have heard of it. There's another school named Rose Howman in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Terre Haute? I've never even heard of that city, let alone the school.
Yeah, that's true. Not many people have heard of it. But similar to Owen, this is actually one of the schools that has no name, no big names, but turns out to be seriously strong. Its graduates are learning more 4 years out of school than grads from schools like Berkeley, Northwestern, Brown, Yale, those big names.
Wait, more than Yale and Berkeley?
Yeah, more than these schools because almost everyone there is studying majors like engineering or computer science, and so there's no average dragging that number down. So when the school is unknown has data that good, it's not about prestige. It's more about the program doing its own work.
Oh, okay. So same idea as the feeder school thing, just a different flavor of it.
Yeah, it's like different mechanism, but same conclusion. The ranking doesn't tell you everything, and you should look for other factors.
All right, so it's less about the school's name and more about what's actually happening inside the program.
Yes, and the last two things, they actually directly connected to what we talked about last time.
Oh, this should be good.
Remember how I said you don't have to decide on day one whether you want to study EE or ECE? What I would advise students to ask is how easy is it to switch tracks within the program once you get in? Because some programs make it really simple and some make it a whole process.
Right, because he might think he wants one thing and then he changes his mind once he's actually in it.
Yeah, that's true. And I wouldn't expect every class to combine hardware and software, but I'd look for key upper level courses and projects that force you to combine both. Like embedded systems for robotics, and that's where the industry skill show up.
So checking whether the curriculum is ECE in spirit, not just a name.
Yes, and I would say that Harvard Med is a really great example where that foundation actually comes from. Everyone there, no matter what their major, takes a shared core of engineering, computing, and math first. So by the time you get to the upper level projects, you already have the both halves of the toolkit.
Okay, this is much more useful than just a ranking list.
Right, rankings give you a list of good schools, but teaching style, real pipelines, what salary actually means, curriculum and flexibility. That's what tell you whether this good school actually fits your brother.
All right, so I'm sending him both of these videos.
Yeah, wonderful. And tell him to pick up a place where he can become the kind of engineer we talked about last time, not just the place with the best names.